Children, I hope you have gone through my previous videos and done all the work that was assigned to you. Let us now proceed further. Today we are going to start organic chemistry, some basic principles and techniques. Now, carbon atom has the property of catenation. That means it can bond with other carbon atoms, and it also forms covalent bonds with other atoms like hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, phosphorus and halogens. Compounds containing carbon and hydrogen, they are called as hydrocarbons, and hydrocarbons and their derivatives are called as organic compounds. And the branch of chemistry which deals with these organic compounds, it is called as organic chemistry. Now, the most common geometric arrangement of four covalent bonds, carbon shows a tetravalency, four bonds. So, the most common geometric arrangement of four covalent bonds in carbon is tetrahedral. The angle between tetrahedral bonds is 109.5 degrees. The sp hybrid orbital contains more s character, and hence it is closer to nucleus and forms shorter and stronger bonds than sp3 hybrid orbital. The sp2 hybrid orbital is intermediate in s character and is between sp and sp3. Therefore, bond lengths and enthalpies are also intermediate between them. The greater the s character of the hybrid orbital, greater is electronegativity. Thus, sp hybrid orbital are most electronegative. Now, about this sp2, sp3 hybrid orbital, we will be studying it in detail when we take up the chapter covalent bonding. Okay, in physical chemistry. Electron change cloud of pi bond is located above and below the plane of bonding atoms. This results in electrons being easily available to attacking region. In this way, they provide the most reactive centers. We come to the structural representation of organic molecule. So they are represented in various ways. That is the Lewis structure, dot structure, dash structure, condensed structure, bond line structure, formula, etc. Now, first type we are going to study is complete and condensed formula. The Lewis structure is simplified by representing a covalent bond by a dash. Instead of electrons, we are showing the bond with dash. The double bond and triple bond is represented by 2 dashes and 3 dashes respectively. See, for example, over here you have carbon, hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen. So, single bond is shown in dash like this. So, this is methane. Now, over here you have a double bond. So, this is wrongly written over here. It is ethyl. Double bond is ethyl, and this, there is a triple bond over here. So, this becomes ethyne. Okay, the sum of all the bonds around a carbon atom is always 4. So, these structures can be simplified by omitting the dashes. You can write them directly, like methane, instead of writing like this, you can write CH4. Ethene can be written as CH2 double bond CH2. Ethyne can be written as CH. Methanol can be written as CH3OH. No need to show the dashes. Such structures, because they have become shortened, so they are called as condensed structural formula. Okay. Certain structures, like suppose it is CH3, CH2, 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 COOH. 3 times there is CH2. So what you can do, you can put CH2 in a bracket and put a 3 over there. So you can write it as CH3, CH2 whole thrice COOH. Alright. So this way also you can shorten it or condense it. Next way of representing is bond line structural formula. In this method, carbon-carbon bonds are shown by lines drawn in zigzag fashion. Carbon and hydrogen atoms are not shown. The terminals denote methyl group. Okay, until and unless if there is something other than methyl group, then that will be written. but if it is CH3, it will not be written. The line junctions denote carbon atoms bonded to appropriate number of hydrogen atoms required to satisfy the tetravalency, which is shown by carbon atom. So let us take an example like 3-methyl octane can be represented like this. This is the condensed formula by which you can represent it. See, octane means there should be 8 carbon atoms. The chain should have 8 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And on the third carbon you have a methyl group. 1, 2, 3. So you have a methyl group over here. So this becomes 3-methyl octane and all single bonds. In bond line structure formula, you show it like this, zigzag. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on the third carbon, 1, 2, 3, there is a methyl group. Or you can omit the CH3 because it is understood that ends are CH3. So you can simply make the lines like this, and to the third one, because the side chain is also CH3, no need to write. So this way you can show, because terminals represent methyl group. Okay. Hexagonal can be represented as, suppose it is CH3, CH2, whole 4, CHO. This is the, I'll show you over here 1 minute. If the condensed formula is, yes, this one, CH3, CH2, whole 4, CHO. So what will you do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in this place you will write CHO. Alright, so this is bond line formula. Okay, next is polygon formula. The cyclic compounds are usually represented by polygon without showing carbon and hydrogen atoms. The junction of two lines represents carbon atom linked with required number of hydrogen atoms. For example, see, they are making a polygon. This is called cyclo because it is a closed structure, cyclopropane. 4 lines are there, so cyclobutane. This is a pentagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it is cyclopentane. Why? Because it is all a single line. If it was a double line, it would have become ene. If there was a triple line somewhere, then it would have become ine. Now see here, there are 6, so it becomes cyclohexane. Now there is another way, 3-dimensional representation. 3 types of lines are used to indicate the bond. The bond line in plane of paper are depicted by normal line. The solid wedge, this one, this is the solid wedge. It is used to indicate a bond lying above the plane of paper and projecting towards observer. And dashed wedge, this one, this is used to represent a bond lying below the plane of paper and projecting away from the observer. Okay, so methane can be shown like this. So in this carbon, these two are on the plane of paper, so they are shown by dash. This one is coming towards you, so it is solid wedge, and this is going away from you, so it is dashed wedge. So this is the 3-dimensional representation of organic compounds. Now let us study about the types of organic compounds. We come to the topic classification of organic compounds. Basically, organic compounds can be divided into 2 types, acyclic or cyclic. Acyclic is open chain, cyclic, just now I showed you this one. These, they are closed chain. So let us first study about the acyclic or open chain. They are also called as aliphatic compounds. They consist of straight or branched chain compounds. Like here, you have 4 carbons, so it is called as isobutane. There are 2 carbons and a CHO aldehyde group, so it is called as acetaldehyde. So the chain can be straight or they can be branched. All right. Next type of organic compound is called as alicyclic or closed chain. These are aliphatic cyclic compounds. They are of two types. First is homocyclic aliphatic compounds, which contain only carbon atoms in the ring. They are known as carbocyclic compounds or homocyclic. Homo means same. So because they are all the ends contain carbon, so they are homocyclic or carbocyclic. See, cyclopropane, cyclobutane, cyclohexane. The other type, they are heterocyclic. See here, heterocyclic, because in the ring, one compound becomes, one atom is oxygen. Here one of the atom is nitrogen. So this is and the rest are carbon. So this becomes hetero. Hetero means different. So if there is something like nitrogen, oxygen or sulfur etc. in the ring, then they are called as heterocyclic aliphatic compounds. Like this is tetrahydrofuran and this is called tetrahydropyrrole. Next type of compounds, they are aromatic compounds. Now aromatic compounds are again of three types. First type is benzoid aromatic compound. Benzoid aromatic compounds, they contain at least one benzene ring. Benzene is C6H6, alternate double bond, single bond. So these contain at least one benzene ring or may contain isolated or fused benzene rings, like see over here. Benzene will come in this category. This is the benzene ring, alternate double bond, then single bond, then double bond, then single bond, then double bond. Okay, so formula is C6H6. Now if to this benzene ring you add a NO2 group, so it becomes nitrobenzene. To this you add another benzene ring, it becomes diphenyl. And the last one is naphthalene. Okay, so this way, here C6H6, C6H6. In this, what has happened? We have these two are being shared. So this here only there is a bond between these two carbons, but in this, these two carbons are being shared by both the rings. So this is naphthalene. The reaction with fluorine or iodine, that gets added over here in place of NO2. So again it will become fluorobenzene or chlorobenzene or iodobenzene and so on. Okay. Next is non-benzoid aromatic compounds. Now they contain highly unsaturated rings. See, like propolone. There's double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond, and even the side chain is having a double bond. So such type of compounds, they are known as non-benzoid aromatic compounds. Benzene ring is not found there. The next is heterocyclic aromatic compounds. Again, hetero means I told you different. So if in place of carbon there is something else like nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen, then it becomes heterocyclic aromatic. But there are double bonds and single bonds. So like over here, see, this is pyrrole. This structure is pyridine. This structure is called as thiophene, and here this is furan. So this is how, when there is nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen in place of carbon in the ring, in the closed ring structure, then you will call it heterocyclic aromatic compounds. Then functional groups. Functional groups are small structural units within molecules at which most of the compounds' chemical reaction take place. They largely determine the chemical properties of organic compounds. For example, hydroxyl group is OH, aldehyde group CHO, carboxylic acid group COOH. Okay, so these are the functional groups which can replace the hydrogen of the compounds, organic compounds, whether it is aliphatic or aromatic, both. Now the next term is homologous series. Homologous series is a group of organic compounds having similar structure. All members have the same functional groups, show same chemical properties, and in between two successive members there is a difference of CH2. Like methane CH4, ethane C2H5. So between C2H6, between methane and ethane there is a difference of CH2. Similarly, between ethane and propane there will be a difference of CH2. Same way you can see methanol, ethanol. Methanol is CH3OH, ethanol is C2H5OH. Difference of CH2. Methanoic acid or formic acid and acetic acid. Difference of CH2. So they belong to the same homologous series. Next we come to nomenclature of organic compounds. Two systems of nomenclatures are followed. First is the trivial or the common name. Now trivial or common name means they are based on the source of origin, on certain properties. Example, acetic acid got its name from acetum. Acetum means vinegar in Latin. So since it is present in vinegar, it was called acetic acid. Citric acid, because it was found in citrus fruits, they gave the name citric acid. So depending upon where it is found, the trivial or the common name was given. But internationally, IUPAC has given certain names to the compounds. They are called as the IUPAC system. IUPAC, is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Now, this system is accepted worldwide, and first letter of the IUPAC's name is always written in capital letter. Now, the IUPAC name of any organic compound consists of three parts. First is word root, second is suffix, and the third is prefix. Word root denotes the number of carbon atoms present in principal carbon chain, which is longest continuous chain of carbon atoms containing functional groups and multiple bonds. Like if it is single carbon, it will be called meth. If two carbons, eth. 3 prop, 4 but, 5 pent, 6 hex, 7 hept, 8 oct, 9 nan, 10 dec, 9 is non, 10 is dec, 11 is under, and 12 is dodec. Now next comes the suffix. There are two types of suffix, primary suffix and secondary suffix. Now primary suffix denotes the principal carbon whether the principal carbon chain is saturated or unsaturated. Now if all the chains are saturated means single bond, then the suffix is given as ane. But if there is a double bond, suffix ene is given, and if it is a triple bond, then suffix ine is given. If there are two double bonds, then suffix is diene, and if there are three triple bond, then suffix will become triene. Alright. Now secondary suffix. This denotes the functional group. Now the double and single bond which I was telling you in primary suffix, we are talking about the double and triple bond in between carbon-carbon atoms. Now you come to the secondary suffix. It denotes the functional group. So if it is an alcohol, OH, then the secondary suffix will be OL, all. If it is aldehyde, CHO group, secondary suffix will be al, AL. If it is a ketone, C double bond O, secondary suffix will become ONE, ON. For COOH, it will be oic acid. For COOR, esters, alkyl OH. For acid chloride, COCl, it will be oil chloride. For acid amide, CONH2, it will be amide. For cyanide, CN, it will be nitrile, and for amines, NH2, it will be amine only. So these are the ways suffix are given. Then comes the prefix. Prefix also are of two types, primary prefix and secondary prefix. Now primary prefix is used to distinguish a cyclic compound from acyclic. So for acyclic nothing is written, but if the compound is cyclic, like see here, this is cyclic, so you will write cyclopropane, but if it is acyclic it will be simple propane. Okay, you will not use the term cyclo. Now we come to secondary prefix. In IUPAC system, certain groups are not considered as functional group and they are denoted as secondary prefix. For example, fluorine, they are known as fluoro, Cl, chloro, Br, bromo, I, iodo, No, nitroso, NO2, nitro, CH3, methyl, C2H5, ethyl, OCH3 is methoxy, because in methyl there is an oxygen, methoxy, OC2H5, ethoxy. So these are the secondary prefix. Now the IUPAC name, yes, the IUPAC name comprises of first thing you will write is secondary prefix. After that you will write primary prefix. Then you will write the word root, then primary suffix, and then the secondary suffix. So this is the order in which IUPAC's name is written. First secondary prefix, then primary prefix, then word root, then primary suffix and secondary suffix. Okay, so you can try with the various compounds to write IUPAC name of different compounds and see whether what you are writing is correct or wrong. Practice as much as you can. Now we come to types of carbon atoms in alkanes. Carbon and hydrogen both, they are of four types. First is primary carbon, which is also called as 1 degree carbon. Carbon atom is linked to one or no carbon, it is called as primary carbon atom. Alright, example CH4, CH3, CH3. So in this CH4, it is methane, it is not linked to any other carbon, so it is primary. CH3, CH3, these are linked to one other, so it is primary. So either to 0 or to 1, it is primary. Secondary carbon, if it is linked to two other carbons, CH3, CH2, CH3. Now this carbon in center is linked to 2, so it is secondary carbon. Then you come to tertiary carbon. If it is linked to 3 other carbon atoms, see this carbon, second carbon, it is linked to 3 carbons. So this carbon is tertiary carbon and these are primary. Then comes quaternary carbon, when carbon atom is linked to 4 others. So the one in center, this is 4 degree or quaternary carbon. It is linked to 4 other carbon atoms. Alright. So in this way there are 4 types of carbon atoms. Now we come to IUPAC nomenclature for alkanes. Now in alkanes, when you are writing the name, first thing you have to see is the longest carbon chain rule. So the longest continuous chain of carbon atom is called the parent chain. And the carbon atoms not included in parent chain, they are called branch chain or substituents or side chain. Like see over here, there are so many carbons over here. If you count like this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you count this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So which is the longest? Obviously the one with 7. This will be considered as the primary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this carbon over here, this will be a methyl group, side chain. These CH2, CH3, they will be ethyl group, side chain. Alright. And the parent chain will be heptane because all are having single bond. Second rule is lowest number rule. Numbering of the parent chain is done from the end from which the side chain is nearest. Like see, if you look here also 1, 2, 3. 4. The side chain is on the 4th carbon. But here 1, 2, 3. Side chain is on the 3rd carbon. So numbering is from this side and not from this side. Same is the case over here. Side chain is at the 3rd carbon. So numbering will be such a way that side chain comes to the smallest number. Alright. This is the lowest number rule. Then you come to the next rule, that is lowest set of locants rule. So if there are 2 or more side chain, the parent chain is numbered from the end from which the side chain is nearest. It is called the lowest set of locants rule. Just now I showed you there were 2 side chains and we named it from the odd number where the carbon was the lowest. See, again show you because that is bigger picture. It will be clear. There are 2 side chain. One is methyl group, other is ethyl group. But we will not see which side chain is what name. We are just counting the carbons. Now if you count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, it would come on the 4th. Whereas from here this comes on the 3rd one. So numbering has to come this way, not this way. Alright, so this is lowest chain locant rule. Lowest set of locant rule. Next is number of different alkyl groups at equivalent position. If 2 different side chains are present at equivalent position in parent carbon chain, then numbering is done in such a way that side chain coming first in alphabetical order gets lowest number. Okay, if methane and methyl and ethyl group are coming at the same number, see here 1, 2, 3, 3rd pe you have methyl group, and 1, 2, 3, 3rd pe you have the ethyl group also. So in this case numbering will be done from this side because E comes before M in alphabetical order. Alright, so this is the thing. This one is wrong. Numbering cannot be done from this side because E comes before M. Alright. Now next is naming of side chains in alphabetical order. When 2 or more side chains are present in carbon chain, then each side chain is written in alphabetical order irrespective of the position. Now numbering is done so that the number comes minimum for the first chain. But when you are writing the name, that time the naming has to be done in alphabetical order. So in this case, like first you will write 3 ethyl, then 4 methyl hexane. You cannot write 4 methyl, 3 ethyl hexane. That will be wrong. Okay, alphabetically the side chains have to be written. Now naming same alkyl group present in parent carbon chain. When same alkyl group occurs more than once, the position of the alkyl group is separated by comma and the prefix di, tri, tetra is used. See here, methyl group is present on 2nd as well as 3rd. Sorry, it is not 2nd, it is 2 methyl groups on 2nd, 1 on 4th and 1 on 5th. So it is written 2, 2, 4, 5 tetramethyl and total number of carbons is 6, so hexane. Alright, so in this way the naming is done. Next is numbering of complex substituents. Numbering of complex substituent. When 1 or more carbon atoms of an alkyl group are further substituted, it is called complex substituent. So it is named as substituted alkyl group by numbering from carbon atom of this group attached to parent chain as 1. The name of complex substituent is written in bracket. See, this. It is not a simple side chain. So from the carbon to which the first carbon is attached, this carbon will be given number 1, this will be given 2, this will be given 3, and these will be considered as its side chain. So this compound, because it has 8 carbons, single bond, so it is octane. from the fourth carbon, a side chain is there which has 3 carbons. So the side chain will be given in bracket, and this side chain has 2 methyl side chains. So it will be given as on the fourth carbon, because the side chain is present. So 4 within brackets 1 comma 1, because methyl group is on the first carbon of the side chain. 1 comma 1 dimethyl propyl, bracket closed, because the side chain's name is finished now, and the parent chain is octane. Understood? 4 1 comma 1 dimethyl propyl octane. Alright. Now see over here. While deciding the alphabetical order of various substituents, the name of the complex is considered to begin with the first letter of its complete name. Like 5, here in this case from the 5th carbon it is starting. So 5, 2 comma 2, because on the second carbon methyl group is there. 2 comma 2 dimethyl, and this side chain has 3 carbon parent chain, so dimethyl propyl. After that there is a side chain here also, 3 ethyl, and since it has 10 carbons, decane. Alright, so the name is 5 dash within brackets the side chain 2 comma 2 dimethyl propyl, bracket closed, 3 ethyl decane. Alright. Now when names of complex substituent contain identical words, the priority is given to locant coming first. For example, 1 methyl propyl comes first before 2 methyl propyl. If two possible longest carbon chains, then parent chain is selected which contains larger number of side chains. If two chains have the same number of, like here you see this chain, not this chain, the other one only. If there are two chains which are having the same number of carbon atoms, so it's difficult to decide which one will be the longest chain. So in the one in which there will be more side chains, that will be selected. Now we come to the IUPAC name of alkenes. Longest possible chain of carbon containing alkenes, double bond, is selected. So the parent chain must have a double bond, whether it is long or not. Alright. So for alkenes, double bond is a must. If a double bond is present, then the parent chain must have that double bond. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. We could have selected this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but then it would not have had a double bond. So we have to select this chain. And this becomes 3-methyl 2-propyl hex 1-ene. Now if molecule contains 2 or more double bonds, let us see the next condition. If in a molecule there are 2 or more double bonds, the common IUPAC name is alkadiene or alkatriene. In such cases, terminal A is added to the word root, like pentene normally you will write, but in this case it will become penta 1,3-diene. See, first carbon and the third carbon have double bonds, so it becomes 3-ethyl 2-methyl penta, because there are 5 carbons, 1,3-diene. Alright. Sometimes it is not possible to include all double bonds in parent carbon chain. In such case, following prefix are used. For CH2 double bond, you write methylene. For CH2 double bond CH, vinyl. For CH2 double bond CH, CH2, allyl. For CH3 CH, it is ethylidene. Okay, now next we come to IUPAC names of alkynes. Their rules are same as those of alkenes. Only thing is the term YNE, alkyne, is used because there is a triple bond. See over here, parent carbon chain is of 5. First carbon has a triple bond, and the second and the third and fourth have side chains methyl. So you write 3,4-dimethyl pent 1-ine. Okay, same way over here, 4 carbons in all. The first and the third have triple bond, so it is buta 1,3-diene. Alright, so please practice all this. Then further of nomenclature we'll continue in the next video.